Hello, I'm Rajinder Hans. You're watching Prime News on tvsarawak.com. Let's take a look at the latest updates on Sarawak. State Police Chief will continue to work closely with mass media. The 2014 Lan Berambih Anak Sarawak Carnival is expected to attract about 30,000 visitors. Conference of senior officials of the Department of Agriculture discussed about 11th Malaysia Plan focus and programs. State Police Chief Datuk Wira Muhammad Sabtu Osman said police will continue to work closely with the mass media to ensure the public gets accurate safety and crime-related information. He added that close interaction would enable both sides to do their respective jobs well. He encouraged the media to report crime-related incidences or even advertise crime prevention information to heighten the public's awareness of the need to take preventive measures. He, however, urged the media not to report confidential news, especially those pertaining to ongoing investigations, as it might affect investigation. The 2014 Lan Berambih Anak Sarawak Carnival, which allows Sarawak entrepreneurs to generate income through the marketing of their products, is expected to attract about 30,000 visitors. Women, Family and Community Development Minister Datuk Seri Rohani Abdul Karim said it is scheduled to be held from October 31st to November 2nd at Bukit Jalil Stadium's car park. She said that the carnival provides the opportunity for Sarawakians living in the peninsula to gather and experience the Sarawakian environment as if they are in Sarawak. Datuk Seri Rohani said that Carnival will have 120 stalls, namely 60 stalls for entrepreneurs, 40 government department stalls and 20 stalls under the concept Sarawak Kitchen. Among the products that will promote it included handicrafts, food and natural products of Sarawak besides cultural performances. According to Datuk Seri Rohani, Lan Berambih is Sarawakian dialect meaning let's gather and aims to strengthen ties among Sarawakians. The carnival is an annual event organized by the Peninsula Sarawakians Association in collaboration with the Sarawak Chief Minister's Department's Bumiputra Entrepreneur Development Unit, Sarawak House Kuala Lumpur and Yayasan Sarawak Kuala Lumpur with the full support of the Sarawak State Government. Conference of Senior Officials of the Department of Agriculture was inaugurated by Dr. Ngenang Anak Datu Janggu, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agricultural Modernisation at Riverside Majestic Hotel, Kuching. According to him, the objective of this conference is the presentation of current as well as the 11th Malaysia Plan focus and programs of the ministry and the department as well as the presentation of research findings. A discussion on the progress and plans of research crops, land management and inland fisheries research programs. This conference is held for 3 days starting from 14th to 16th October 2014. The purpose of this conference was to inform senior officials in the Department of Travel and Transformation Roadmap Department now and in the future. It is also to inform all the new things implemented by different departments. The opening ceremony for Seminar Malaysian Civil Engineering Standard Method of Measurement was held in Imperial Hotel, Kuching today. It is a one-day seminar which is developed by the Construction Industry Development Board Malaysia to disseminate the benefits of standardization of measurement in improving project delivery to the construction industry stakeholders in Sarawak. Works Minister Datuk Fadilah Yusof has urged the construction industry and all public works department officers to adopt civil engineering standard method of measurement to reduce disputes and to increase productivity and the cost effectiveness of projects.
Kita perlu memastikan projek dilaksanakan dengan cepat, tepat dan berpandukan standard-standard yang telah ditetapkan. Di antara standard yang dimaksudkan adalah metodologi ukuran bahan yang dibangunkan oleh CIDB melalui kolaborasi kolaborasi dengan para penggiat industri pada tahun 2011, iaitu Malaysian Civil Engineering Standard Method of Measurement atau yang saya sebutkan tadi singkatannya MySystem.
He also added that it can be the best practice to reduce confusion and enhance the professionalism of all industry players. A Memorandum of Understanding in Civil Engineering Standard Method of Measurement was also signed during the ceremony between CIDB and Sarawak PWD, Department of Sewerage Services, Malaysian Highway Authority, Board of Quantity Surveyors Malaysia, Royal Institution of Surveyors Malaysia, Institution of Engineers Malaysia and Indah Water Consortium Sendirian Berhad. Construction Industry Development Board has organised a seminar on the Malaysian Civil Engineering Standard Method of Measurement at Imperial Hotel Kuching at 9 a.m. today. A press conference was held after the opening ceremony of the seminar. According to the Minister of Works, Datuk Fadilah Yusof, the federal government is giving consideration to the cost of the new public-private partnership to accelerate the implementation of the Pan-Borneo Highway.
Pengumuman yang baru ini mengapa 27 bilion disebabkan Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri memberi komitmen kepada rakyat Sabah dan Sarawak untuk mempercepatkan perhubungan di antara dua negeri ini dan juga antara bahagian dan juga wilayah di Sarawak dan Sabah ini. Untuk mempercepatkan, maka telah diperkenalkan kaedah baru, pendekatan baru untuk mempercepatkan pelaksanaan Pan Borneo melalui kaedah PPP, Private Public Partnership, di mana pembinaan ini nanti akan dibiayai sebahagian besarnya oleh private sector.
By using this method, the private sector will be required to build and maintain highways for a period of time, agreed by the self-financing, and the government will pay back in installments after the project is completed. He also hoped that the construction of the Pan-Borneo Highway has become a strategic link roads and ride comfort to the user. At the same time, he wanted the highway to give economic spillover effects to the people in Sabah and Sarawak. Sarawak Forestry and Wildlife Conservation Society have taken orang-utan conservation in Sarawak up another notch by organising the first ever state-level orang-utan conservation drama competition for all secondary schools in the state. This online-based competition was officially launched yesterday via the social media channels and competition website. CEO of Sarawak Forestry, Dato' Ali Yusof, said he believed that learning through play is a better and more effective conservation education tool that will promote behavioural change in younger generation. Meanwhile, Director of Wildlife Conservation Society Malaysia Program, Dr. Melvin Gumal, explained that the idea behind this drama to try something novel and innovative in reaching out to the local communities, including schools in and around the Batang Ai National Park and Lanja Intimau Wildlife Sanctuary. The Batang Ai Lanja Intimau complex, together with the Betong Kerihun National Park in West Kalimantan, forms a trans-boundary conservation area with the largest protected area for the wild population of the pygmies. The 12 winning entries will be brought to Kuching to compete in the grand finale from February 9th to 10th, 2015. Moving on to the Malaysian news. Malaysian Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak arrived in Milan to attend the 10th summit of the Asia-Europe meeting. The Prime Minister's delegation was greeted on arrival by Malaysian Ambassador to Italy, Datin Paduka Halimah Abdullah, and embassy officials. The two-day summit, carrying the theme Responsible Partnership for Growth and Security, begins Thursday and will discuss inter-regional issues between Asia and Europe, covering the political, economic and socio-cultural pillars of the ASEM cooperative framework. They include traditional and non-traditional security challenges, economic and financial recovery, enhancing Asia-Europe connectivity, sustainable development, human rights, and the future direction of ASEM. ASEM was formed in 1996 as a forum for dialogue and cooperation between Europe and Asia. This year's summit gathered 53 countries from 2 continents. Every 2 years, ASEM heads of state and government meet at a summit to set ASEM's priorities. These summits are held alternatively in Asia and Europe. Malaysia is the coordinator for ASEAN at this summit. While in this Italian city, Datuk Seri Najib is also scheduled to participate in the Asia-Europe Business Forum and meet Asian and European leaders. The implementation of the Goods and Services Tax is not an excuse for automotive industry players not to lower car prices, Deputy Finance Minister Dato' Ahmad Maslan said. He said car prices should drop as the current 10% sales tax imposed would be replaced by a 6% GST. On an argument that car prices will not necessarily come down as the GST will be imposed at every level of production and distribution chain. He said the tax imposed could be claimed unlike the sales and service tax. The GST at 6% will replace existing sales tax and service tax from April 1, 2015. Finance Ministry and International Trade and Industry Ministry officials have asserted that car prices on average might be slashed by between 1 and 3 after the GST is implemented. Dato' Ahmad said the government and formulated policies to drive prices of certain goods down, so the prices of these items should be lowered. He said the prices of 532 out of 944 items exempted from the GST would drop based on the calculation of the multi-layered SST levied on them. Malaysia appreciates the improvements made by the United Nations Security Council in shifting from comprehensive economic sanctions to targeted sanctions as they help minimize the potential adverse impact on third states. Malaysia's permanent representative to the UN, Datuk Hussein Hanif, said Malaysia was concerned about the impact of sanctions, especially on the question of maintaining international peace and security. He said although Malaysia appreciated the improvements made by the sanctions committees, in principle, the country was against the application of sanctions as most of the time they brought collateral damage to innocent people of a state. Datuk Hussein said Malaysia was of the view that sanctions should not be considered for preventive measures and should only be applied in accordance with the UN Charter and relevant principles of international laws. The Malaysian Global Innovation and Creative Centre Startup Academy will provide regional and global exposure to help new Malaysian startups penetrate the ASEAN market. Secretary-General of Treasury Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Irwan Serigar Abdullah said MSA would serve as a platform to equip entrepreneurs with the right skills and tools to navigate the economy and build companies that could scale regionally and globally. He said that MSA provides opportunities for entrepreneurs to participate in beginning and advanced level workshops led by some of the most experienced domain experts from Malaysia and around the world. Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Irwan added that MSA will enhance the entrepreneurs' ecosystem in Malaysia and help entrepreneurs, especially in the small and medium enterprises, to penetrate the ASEAN market, which has a population of approximately 600 million. Muhammad Irwan, who is also MAGIC chairman, said as a platform to help boost startups to the next level, workshops would be held from time to time nationwide to hunt for startup entrepreneurs. My Taxi, a new crime prevention application launched yesterday, will allow taxi drivers to act as the police's eyes and ears to combat crime. The police recently briefed and trained 500 taxi drivers in the city so that they could link the community and police in preserving public safety through the application. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Khalid Abu Bakar said the launch of the application was an initiative outlined through the National Blue Ocean Strategy 7 program, together with the taxi drivers. He said the My Taxi application, downloadable on smartphones, not only assisted passengers to obtain taxi service, but also made it easy for taxi drivers to contact the nearest district police headquarters operations rooms in the Klang Valley in case of a crime or accident. Moving on to the global front. The United States has called for a swift, transparent and complete investigation into the beating of a handcuffed Hong Kong democracy protester by plainclothes police as fresh street clashes broke out early Thursday. Television footage of officers assaulting the unarmed protester in a dark corner of a public park has sparked outrage and calls for prosecution from activists and lawmakers in the city. Tensions soared in the former British colony after the video went viral Wednesday, with protesters saying they had lost all faith in the police despite the accused officers being removed from their post by city authorities. The United States said it was deeply concerned by the police brutality reports. The Asian financial hub has been rocked by mass rallies for much of the last fortnight, calling for full democracy and causing significant disruption to a city usually known for its stability. Prime Minister David Cameron, meanwhile, said Britain would stand up for Hong Kong's rights and freedom. Cybercrime costs are escalating for US companies and attacks are becoming more complicated to resolve, a study showed Wednesday. A survey of 59 US firms by the Ponemon Institute with Hewlett-Packard found the average annual cost of responding to cyber attacks was $12.7 million, up 96% over the previous 5 years. The organization saw a 176% increase in the number of cyber attacks, with an average of 138 successful attacks per week, compared to 50 attacks per week when the study was initially conducted in 2010. The average time to detect an attack was 170 days, and it took on average 45 days to resolve a cyber incident, costing an average of $1.6 million, according to the researchers. The cost of cyber attacks include detection and data recovery, as well as loss of information and disruption to business, the report said. The report comes following news of high-profile data breaches affecting millions of customers at retailers such as Target and Kmart, and banks including JP Morgan Chase. A second healthcare worker in Texas tested positive for Ebola, US officials said Wednesday, as concerns mounted worldwide over the possibility that airplane travelers could be exposed to the virus. US President Barack Obama cancelled a campaign trip to the US Northeast, instead convening a meeting of his Ebola response team at the White House. Earlier, he had been due to hold a video conference with leaders from Britain, France, Germany and Italy to discuss the latest on the epidemic, which has spilled into the United States and Europe and sparked panic across the globe. The hemorrhagic virus has killed more than 4,400 people in West Africa since the start of the year, and the UN Health Agency has warned of the potential for a steep rise in infections in the coming months. Airports in Britain, Canada and the United States have introduced stepped-up screening of travellers arriving from West Africa, where the disease has ravaged Liberia, Sierra Leone and Guinea. But the European Union stopped short of recommending full continent-wide screening, suggesting instead that member states give medical information at airports to travellers from Ebola-hit countries. Meanwhile, the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued an alert for all passengers who travelled on an October 13 flight from Cleveland, Ohio to Texas, seeking to interview 132 people who flew on a plane with an Ebola-infected healthcare worker who had not yet become symptomatic. The woman was isolated at Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas late Tuesday with a fever, and the crew on the flight said she had not been symptomatic when she flew a day earlier. Ebola is only transmitted by close contact with the bodily fluids of an infected person who is showing symptoms such as fever, diarrhea or vomiting. That wraps up the news for today. We'll be back with more news tomorrow. I'm Rajinder Hans. Thank you for watching.